Hello, my name is Lee Presser. This is my show. I speak frequently to very interesting people. Some of these conversations are so exciting, so intellectually stimulating, I thought others might like to listen in. This is the reason we started recording Conversation with Lee Presser.
Welcome to Conversation with Lee Presser. The city of St. Louis is the largest urban area in Missouri and the principal city in a municipal region of just under 3 million people. It's the 4th largest urban area in the Midwest and the 15th largest in the United States. It's the home of numerous important businesses, educational institutions, museums, and philanthropic organizations. Driving the streets of St. Louis, you'll see some of the most beautiful homes in America. You'll also see some neighborhoods which resemble Germany following World War II. St. Louis has twice been named the most dangerous city in America. Our guest today is the mayor of this complicated town, Francis Slay. He's been mayor since defeating incumbent Mayor Clarence Harmon in a 2001 primary. Mayor Slay, thank you for coming and being with us today.
Happy to be here.
We're really glad to have you. It's been a little while that we've been asking, and I understand from what you said before we went on the air that this takes a big chunk of your day, so it's very much appreciated. So let's just cut right to the chase. What is being mayor of St. Louis about? What do you do? What's your job?
Well, the mayor of St. Louis has a number of responsibilities and a number of roles. First of all, I am the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of a city of over 300,000 people, and that operates a government that has about 6,000 employees. We have a whole lot of different departments: streets department, traffic, we have parks, recreation, forestry, health departments, a lot of different things. We own and operate the airport, a water department as well. We provide good quality water to drinking water and waters for other uses to businesses and residences throughout. So it's a big city with a big government and a lot of responsibilities there. I'm also see myself as a regional leader. I serve on a lot of boards and commissions, the regional chamber, also the work with Civic Progress, a business organization, the regional business council. We also work, I'm on the board of directors for the East-West Gateway Council of Governments, which is the regional metropolitan planning organization that works on mostly transportation and homeland security issues, and a whole host of other things that we do in government that I'm ultimately responsible for. I have a lot of people reporting to me, certainly have a staff, and I also work with neighborhood organizations and business organizations. I go out in neighborhoods and do a lot of things in that regard. So the responsibility is a big responsibility. I certainly get a lot of help within government, and also people outside of government help me with these various responsibilities. But it's a job that's a big job. It never quits, but it's one that I enjoy very much.
You're not a member of the Board of Aldermen. What is your relationship to that group?
Well, the Board of Aldermen, I did serve on the Board of Aldermen for 16 years. 10 years
ago.
10 years as a ward alderman,
right,
representing a ward in the city and district, and 6 years as president of the Board of Aldermen. Mm-hmm. And as mayor, the relationship is a very important one. The Board of Aldermen is our legislative body. Right. They serve like the Missouri House, or this is a one-chamber government, or as Congress does. They pass laws. The Board of Aldermen also are elected officials representing a mutual constituency of mine. I represent the whole city, and they represent districts within the city. So the aldermen are the representatives of people that I represent as well. So I work with aldermen to help address issues within their individual wards, to try to help improve the quality of life in the neighborhoods they represent, because I represent them as well. And every ward is important to the city. Every one is as important as the other. And the other relationship I have, we work on legislation together. In order to get an agenda passed, I need to get at least 15 votes at the Board of Aldermen.
Mm-hmm. How many total members are there?
There are 28 aldermen plus the president, so there are 29 aldermen.
15
so
is
you
a
need,
majority.
You need a majority of votes. And of course, the Board of Aldermen has to pass our budget. And and they can do some things there. They can actually reduce the budget. They can't add anything to it. And ultimately, I have a veto power and a line item veto power on budgetary matters. So I've used it very sparingly, but the relationship is one that's important for the good operation of the city, and also to help make sure we work as hard as we can in neighborhoods to address issues that our neighborhoods are having. So it's a very good relationship. I understand the importance of an alderman, having served, as I said, 10 years as an alderman and 6 years as president. So it's important for me to continue to foster those relationships, to communicate with individual aldermen, and to address issues that are important to them as well.
The press is often interested in conflict, personality conflicts, which you're aware of. And currently, right now, just so people know, we're talking on April the 12th, even though this is showing in May, so things may have changed. But as of this time, I was just reading in the press that there is some difficulty between you and the board president, Mr. Reed, over something having to do with administrative agreements between the county and the city. Yeah. And I don't know whether that's true or not. You probably do. Yeah. He does, but I don't know. How do you react to when the press is trying to create this kind of circus environment? Yeah,
well, the reality is that there is no conflict between Louis Reed, the president of the Board of Aldermen, and myself at this point. I mean, not that we always agree on everything. We work together, I think, very well. So I think there's been some misunderstanding in terms of what's happening and how we're going about some things on the very issue you brought up. I mean, frankly, what we're talking about doing is exploring ways that city and county can work together on things like healthcare, the health department, as well as our respective health departments, as well as our economic development agencies.
Before we go there, would you explain why it's important that there be communication and these administrative agreements between the city and the county?
Well, this is a regional economy, and all of us are going to sink or swim together. It's not just the city and the county separately out there working to help attract jobs, to help improve the quality of life for our residents, and to help improve the environment as well as the health of our citizens. Mm-hmm. It's all impacted. Everything impacts the other, it's even crime that happens in one part of the county or in the city does impact the whole region in terms of the perceptions. So it's important that we work together on these things. It's also important from just an economic standpoint. We have a lot of redundancies between what the county and the city are doing in terms of providing services, economic development. We really have a regional economy. As I said, we ought to be working together more to bring more businesses to the region, regardless of where they may tend to locate, than competing with each other over businesses, jobs, and taxes. Same thing with health. Health issues don't stop at city-county border. I mean, if there's a health issue in the city, a public health issue, there's one in the county and vice versa. So we all thought that it would be better to try to explore ways to work together as far as our health departments and our economic development agencies as a start. It makes a lot of sense. Right now, it's at the administrative stage. It's just the staff members are meeting to talk about, just to learn a little bit more about how they're operating, and then ultimately come up with some suggestions on how they can work closer together, and maybe someday work towards a one health department for the city and county, or one economic development agency for the city and county. Most regions, the city is not part of St. Louis County. In most regions, the major city is part of a county or more counties, and cities don't generally have their own health department, so they don't generally have their own economic development agency as such like we do. We are a separate county under the law, but we ought to be working closer together. And that's what that's about. It's at very early stages. It's just at the staff level. I haven't been even involved myself in any of the meetings personally and haven't got any recommendations back. But once we get to a point where those discussions become more serious and gel, then we'll bring more people to the table to talk about how best to do this and which way do we go, whether we do anything at all, and if we do, how we approach it.
3-4 years into the future, what would you think that would be a good balance or a good relationship between the city and the county?
Well, we're doing a lot of good things together, and I don't want to suggest that we're not. I think we can do more things together. I mean, we're working together on a lot of things. The China Hub, for example, Commission. We work on the Zoo Museum District together. The East-West Gateway Council of Governments. We're working together in that area, and a lot of other things. Even some economic development things we're working on together. But we need to work more on those things. I mean, I'd like to see us. I'd like the city. 3 or 4 years. I'm not sure if it'll happen between now and then. I like to see the city re-enter the county as another municipality, so then we can really establish ourselves as part of, the same region and working. It would foster more cooperation on issues that we compete on now. Right now, if a business leaves the city and goes to the county, the city's the loser and the county's the winner. If a business leaves the county and comes to the city, and that's been happening a fair amount as well, then the county's a loser and the city's a winner. That shouldn't be the case. I'd like to see us work closer together on health, on economic development, on workforce development, on our ports, and creating a port system along the Mississippi River that is even more competitive and better for what we believe will be more business through the China Hub, which, if that comes to fruition, as well as the expansion of the Panama Canal. We're in the Midwest. We need to give people a reason to want to do business here and to come to St. Louis. The China Hub Commission and the China Hub effort is one which will hopefully raise the profile level of the city and the region internationally, which could lead on to a lot of other things for us in the future. And having that port is one that I think is something that would help with that effort. The airport as well. I'd like to see us do more together as an airport, have a regional airport. Right now the city owns and operates it, but it does serve the entire region, and it's very important. So and the rest of the region does have a stake in that. I'd like to see more regional effort in that regard as well.
Has your China Commission given you any indication as to whether or not good things are going to come from that?
Everything's looking very positive at this point, but this is a very difficult play, because what we're asking, what the Chinese and Chinese and the St. Louis region are working on, is changing fundamentally the way the Chinese deal in the United States. We want them, instead of working around the edges, on the East Coast and West Coast in particular and through Chicago, we have an idea that the Chinese are very enamored with, and that is, come to St. Louis, which is in the Midwest. And we're closer to more markets, and you can get to a lot of markets a lot quicker within the United States, and there's no delays. We have excess capacity at our airport, which the other airports do not have, and all those other things. Chinese are enamored with this.
There if you need to add capacity.
And we have Mid-America over here, and we're trying to make sure we work the east side of the region into our discussions in terms of presenting this in the best possible light, so the entire region benefits. But we feel like it looks very positive. There's a bill in Jeff City that would hopefully provide some incentives for this to get this kick started and get it going. We're hoping that there'll be a flight or couple flights a week to start within the next several months as a test, just to see how it works. But the key, and I got to say this, to making this work is not just bringing Chinese goods here, but more importantly, to ship goods from the Midwest back to China. That helps open markets, Chinese markets, to the Midwest businesses, agricultural products, and other products, so we can help improve the economy here in the Midwest as well. So I am cautiously optimistic about the opportunity there. It is something very new and unique. It's going to still take a lot of work to make sure it's successful.
So going from a worldview, now I want to go back to St. Louis.
Right.
And St. Louis is really, as everybody knows, strapped for cash. And so as a result of that, over the years, you've not been able to invest very heavily in renewing infrastructure. There have been, water main breaks. There's been, roads that need improvements there. Does the city have some sort of a working plan in order to renew this infrastructure, hopefully, with making some money from the China deal, but other projects as well?
Well, to keep in mind that the money that we receive, the resources we use to build infrastructure, come from a number of different sources, one of which is the federal government, and another is the state government. I mean, we get money through the state and from the federal on transportation and other issues, as well as some local money. But a bulk of the money we get is through, on transportation issues in particular, is through the gas tax, which, and so when, right now, what's happening at the state level is their funding is so low that they have to come up with new revenues to address the needs, not just in the city and the region, but also throughout the entire state of Missouri. That's an effort that's going to have to be undertaken, and there are organizations working on trying to come up with a plan so that we can do that. We certainly know what our infrastructure needs are.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, somebody's done a survey, and
yes.
they know where the problem areas are. It's just a matter of finding the funding sources to make these repairs.
Yes, that's correct. There have been some big projects so far. We've got the Mississippi River Bridge, which is something Illinois and Missouri worked on together. The Highway 64, was a huge corridor. It's a huge corridor through the St. Louis region. Was completed on time and under budget.
What a great project
just a couple of years ago. But there's a lot of other unmet needs that you mentioned, unmet infrastructure needs, and that's the huge challenge. I'd like to see more money for transit, that we can build a transit infrastructure that'll not only help us, take some of the strain off the highways and roads and bridges, but also will help us be more energy, dependent and more cost-effective in our modes of transportation. I mean, we see where gas prices are going now. They're at close to a historic high, and my expectation is that it will be at a historic high very shortly. When gas prices go up, more people are looking for alternative modes of transportation. Vibrant cities have good quality mass transit systems that are connected, work well, that are safe and clean, and for the region, we need to do a better job with respect to that as well. We're working on and we support the what they call a high-speed rail between St. Louis and Chicago, as well as St. Louis and Kansas City. That's going to be a big part of that's going to be federal money. Not enough to do everything we want to do right now, so we need to find other ways to support that, because I think that'll be good for the St. Louis economy.
Can I ask, why do you favor high-speed rail? What's your thinking on that?
Well, connecting Chicago and St. Louis, there are some big markets. That helps us, I think, economically. We can get to and from Chicago quicker. There's a lot of business being conducted between St. Louis and Chicago, and being better connected to a bigger economy is going to do nothing but help St. Louis on the west side of the river, but also I think as important as anything is the east side of the river. Hopefully will bring a lot of economic development. And then Kansas City, Missouri, a lot of business transacted between Kansas City, Jefferson City, and Kansas City as a natural to bring our state together, closer together, to work together, have more common agenda, and to help improve the economy of the state overall.
When you start talking about roads, I remember not that long ago when there was discussion of bringing infrastructure money from the federal government into Missouri and into the St. Louis area, that St. Louis felt that they hadn't quite gotten their fair share of this money, that a lot of it went to the county, and we won't go into the locations of where, but is that going to be corrected? Is St. Louis going to get a better deal in the future?
Well, we're certainly working on it. I think what's happening is that it's a big state, and there's a lot of different interests throughout the state, and everybody wants to get their piece of the pie, and we're fighting against we're not fighting against it, but we're working within an organization that is heavily outstate controlled overall.
Well, and if you look at the legislature, absolutely.
The Department of Transportation, in particular, the Highway Commission. So we just need to continue to advocate for our region. We can't control by ourselves. We're working within an organization to try to get as much money as we can, but we can't control the amount we get. We need to make sure when we get the money, we use it well, and we use it in an effective way that's going to improve the infrastructure in an optimal way. But the politics, what they are, state politics the way they are, I just hope we can continue to inch our way up and getting what we should be getting back from the state.
I think that the legislature needs to be reminded on a regular basis that the St. Louis region provides, I believe, about 40 to 45% of all taxes generated in this state.
Yeah, it's a big portion of taxes. It's certainly close to that amount.
And I'm not sure whether that 45%
No.
actually comes back into the St. Louis region.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Now, I don't think we should be so parochial to think that every dollar we put to the state should come all back to St. Louis. But the point's well taken, and one we've made many times. We don't get near back what we put in the pot. And St. Louis the region is the economic engine of the state overall. I mean, that's where certainly the major economic engine of the state by far, in terms of jobs, in terms of taxes generated, and all in terms of businesses and things of that nature. So we have to keep tooting our horn and talking about it at the state level, understanding that we're working within a state that is very diverse and is pretty good size overall.
Well, you've had some success, as in the police department apparently is going to come back under city control. Where I think you've not had as much success is in regaining control of your public school system. What is to be done about the St. Louis public schools? I mean, and that's a really serious matter. You've got, 50% of the kids are dropping out before they come to the end, and the others who, not all of them, but a significant number of them are coming out who are not educated enough to go into some of these high-tech businesses that the RCGA would like to create.
Well, we know that the main reason the city lost 29,000 people in population over the past 10 years based on the census that we just received is because we don't have enough quality free public education. And to me, it's not just about the St. Louis Public School District, it's about providing quality free public education in whatever form. Which is why I've been working with the current school district now is under state control. Right. There's a 3-member board of which
Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Gaines, and I forget the
and
other.
Melanie Adams, who's my appointee to the board. They're working very hard and diligently to help improve opportunities in the quality of education there. But in the meantime, what I've been doing is helping to support and foster and get started good quality free public charter schools. And we have a number of new ones that have come online that are excellent, and we need to keep working in both directions to try to improve that opportunity. I know that, just anecdotally, and now from the census that's proven it, that, people are leaving the city because we don't have enough quality education. So that's got to be our number one priority in terms of stemming the population loss and then, trying to grow our economy and grow our population. But
there's something not right in the school system. I mean, we've gone through a whole series of superintendents, and then there's been some kind of strange behavior of elected board members. And I'm thinking of one particular member whose name we're not going to get into, but first got rid of one superintendent, brought in another superintendent, and then turned around and got rid of that one. It just seems to me that we need a lot less showboating and a lot more actual trying to create an environment where kids think it's important to learn.
Well, yeah, and you're absolutely right. And here's what we have is a system it was formed for a different purpose at a different, not a different purpose, same purpose, but a different time and a different environment in a lot of different ways. And what we need to do, and it's been there's a culture and a set of, a mindset in terms of how public education ought to be provided that needs to be changed. One person can't do it, and even a 3-member board by itself cannot do it. You need some buy-in from teachers union and other administrators and parents. even parents.
I think most importantly the parents. When parents tell their children, this is important.
Yeah.
Go there and learn something.
So
spend the time, come home, do your homework.
So you need everybody working together. That's very hard to change something that's been in place for all these years. This is why charter schools, I think, are a very good alternative, because you have more flexibility. You're not, you're not associated with the bureaucracy and other things that hold down your ability to do things you need to do to help provide good education. And we've seen some successes in that regard. Now, there are some charter schools that haven't done so well, particularly the ones that started years ago. if that's the case, those schools ought to be shut down. They ought to be closed. Some of them have been, but we ought to just focus on quality charter schools, quality free public education. You know, we've got a lot of challenges, you know, inner city, high population of poor, a lot of high mobility rate, a lot of other things that go with it. But make no mistake about it, these kids can learn and they can and educate, and we can provide a better quality education to more children and families if we really focus on what's important for the kids, and we don't focus so much on things like just trying to save an institution at the expense of making sure we provide good quality education. I want the St. Louis Public School District to succeed, and I'm working in a lot of different ways to help them with that, but we can't put all our eggs in one basket. For the benefit of the kids and the family and the future of our city, we need to make sure we provide good quality free public education choice, and that includes good quality charter schools.
The mayor's office really has, you're completely separated from the school system and the
Right.
school board, so I mean, you yourself have no direct input
That's
into
correct.
that other than the jawbone. We got about 3 minutes left here, and normally at this point I tell my guests, if you've got anything that we haven't talked about, go ahead, talk about it.
Well, I'm here. I was here to talk about whatever you wanted to talk about, but what I will talk about is this. We have a city. One of the things that we looked at in the census, which I just brought up the census,
Right.
we lost 29,000 people. We know that 22,000 of those people were kids, school-age kids, under 18. So we really lost our population there. But we have some very positive things that came through this census. We are the #1 city in America in terms of the increase in population of educated college graduates, 20s and 30-somethings in the city of St. Louis. And that's something we need to tout. So there's a lot of positive things that came out of that. We have more people that moved into the city. We see a improving infrastructure, a lot of rehabilitation of older buildings, still a lot more to do. We're looking at,
I was startled. I was driving down 44 and there was some building. It's like, wow, look at that. They're fixing that. It's making it look nice.
Yeah, so we're doing those things. We're also trying to do big things like the China Hub, create a greater with East St. Louis side of the river, as well as the St. Louis side of the river, the arch grounds, and improving that. And we're also working on just trying to do more things to help make St. Louis a safer city, as well as one that more people want to live here, where more people want to live and do business and come and visit. So we're doing a lot more things there. It's a big challenge. I think we've made some progress, but we always have a lot of work to do.
Well, it's been great having you here. I hope that we will be able to see you another time. And to my audience, we have to go. I've been speaking with Mayor Francis Slade from St. Louis. We'll see you next week.